Hi, I'm Lizabeth,
And I'm Cindy.
and we're here with another feeding frenzy for, of course, some weight loss.
Forget where you are?
I did, yeah.
Okay,
And
still.
we're still on lesson 5.
Right. Which was about, what was it about?
It was about getting in touch or welcoming the thin you and starting a new relationship
Right.
with food.
Right.
A love relationship
Right.
with food.
Do you feel like you've had enough time with this one now? I know.
I feel like I'm a little better. Yeah, I still think I've got some stuff to work through, but I'm going to honor that time.
Mm-hmm. I think it helped for us to put a day or two in this lesson.
Mm-hmm.
So tell everybody about our experience shopping for this stuff. How did that make you feel? Shopping for the knife and the fork and the plate.
It was kind of weird to begin with. You know,
Yeah.
it was kind of a mixed feeling. Didn't know what are we doing this for. You
Yeah.
know, it was still I'm not really getting this yet.
Yeah.
You know, it wasn't until we got home and put everything out on the altar that I really started to feel the significance of it.
Okay. So explain
You
that.
know, we. You know, I grabbed the plate that at first that stood out at me, you know, and I thought, oh, that's really pretty. Well, I didn't even look at the price. I was proud of me. You know, and we didn't go overboard
Right.
by any means, but, you know, I decided, no, that's the one, so that's the one I'll go with. And did the same thing with all the other ones, you know, and if I went with the first one, found something better, then, you know, pick that one up. So it was kind of getting into the process, but when we came back and we started laying everything out on the altar, the first thing before we laid everything out, I thought, no, it needs some kind of runner or something underneath there. And so I found one that we hadn't used very often, but it was very pretty, and I'd always liked it. So laid that one out, and it started to take on a more lavish feel.
Yeah. Oh, that's a good word for it.
Once I put it on a piece of cloth that I really appreciated, it started to have more of a lavish feel, more of a setting out for someone special than it did beforehand, you know? So once we put it out on that runner, it really had that lavish feel, and I started to get into the mood. So we put the plate down, and then we decided, okay, now it needs a candle, and where are we going to put it? I mean, there was more stuff in a very small place, and I thought, we just need a bigger place, you know? And I began to feel, well, maybe this feels cramped. And then I thought, no, it really doesn't. It doesn't feel cramped, but it does feel right. I don't know. It was weird. It's just weird, you know? I never dreamed of having a fork and a plate and a napkin and a cup and, you know, a knife and a spoon on an altar. I just had never thought of that. And then we still had our journals, and it was like, oh, okay, with all of this sitting here, where are we going to put this? And you first put it on your plate, and I thought, no, I don't want to fill that plate yet.
Good.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So found another place for it. But it started out as a weird experience, but it turned into something
one
really
I
nice.
really didn't want to do at first. It's like,
no.
but to remain in integrity with the book
And ourselves.
we decided to stick to it and go ahead and do this exercise, even though we had a lot of resistance to it. And I'm still questioning why so much resistance on my part. And I'm not sure, except that I'm just not a shopper. And I hate going and looking for stuff, and I'm not a kitchen person. And it just...
Well, but how was the experience of picking it out?
It was better than I thought it would be. I sort of got into it after we started.
Did you?
To pick out the pretty candles and the ones that smell good, or And
Oh yeah, I thought you were going to smell the whole aisle.
and just
Here, smell this one.
I mean, it was better than I thought. It was not something I'd want to go do again, but it wasn't bad picking out the plate.
Well, you aren't a shopper, really.
No, I'm not. I hate shopping, but it wasn't bad. It really wasn't bad, and I enjoyed the ceremony or the ritual. And we tried to make it somewhat of a ritual because of what she had said about rituals in here.
Yeah, we actually lit candles and welcomed the thin me. And got in our minds
and visualized it.
And actually visualized it, yeah. The thin me pulling up to the table that we had set.
Right.
So
I think it turned out pretty good.
It did.
I like the way it looks, and I think it's a place now with a more sacred meaning to me. Now that we had that little ritual and ceremony.
Definitely.
And made it ours, so to speak. So we'll throw a picture up there. Okay, so what else from this lesson? Do you feel like you can start a love affair with food now? Do you feel any different about your relationship with food?
I do already.
Do you?
I do.
Why?
Because I've tested it. I had a friend come over last night, and I decided to go out with her and her daughter, and we went out to a restaurant. And once again, I had an entire menu full of whatever I want.
Where'd you go?
We went to O'Charlie's.
You did have a big menu.
I did have a big. I mean, there were pages and pages of delicious looking options. And my first thought, and I thought, this needs to be my first thought when I sit down with this, when I'm faced with this choice, at least until it becomes part of my subconscious. I recognize this in myself. My first thought was, what am I feeding myself tonight? And if anything but love came up, then I looked at it first, By that I mean, when I asked myself, what am I feeding myself tonight, the first thing that came up was hunger. And I thought, no. And I checked in. Am I really that hungry? And the answer was, yeah, I'm really that hungry. Okay. So then my next question was, what am I hungry for? I wanted to make sure I wasn't emotionally eating, first off, because I was having an emotional day. So it became important to me to ask that question. So when I started looking at my choices through there, the emotional part of me went to everything I'd found comfort in beforehand. And I didn't discount it. I looked at it. I mean, it took me a little while to choose, and I had to ask the waiter to come back a couple of times. But I looked at every one of the choices, and every time I'd land on one, I'd ask that second question, why am I choosing this? And if it wasn't out of I really want this, then I moved on.
Good for you.
So I ended up, long story short, getting a, what was it I got?
Chicken.
It was a balsamic chicken bruschetta. Oh, it was wonderful. The flavors were all there, but it was grilled chicken. And it had just a little bit of cheese on top, and then a bruschetta, which is, lots of tomato and red onion and that kind of stuff. I picked the red onion out. But and then I had a side of steamed broccoli. So I felt very good.
Yeah.
And I knew I was feeding me, not feeding the emotion. So that felt really good.
Yeah, I bet.
Now, the emotion part, I am not perfect, okay? I am not perfect. And so my friend asked, do you want a drink? And I said, yes. But I didn't feed the emotion. I literally wanted a drink. Yeah. So I had several.
Not that many.
4 or 5. I had several.
Well, you didn't act like
I had several. Well, no, but they weren't chock full of alcohol. It was just more, more
like
syrupy drinks. It was mostly ice, But it was good, and I really had a good time. And I realized I'm not quite there yet, The thin me probably would not have had so many to drink.
Yeah, okay. Well, I don't know. Thin me's still going to have emotional days.
Yeah.
And that doesn't mean she feeds them food. But, I don't know, I think you deserve to have time out with your friends and enjoy it. And,
I didn't come home stumbling drunk,
no.
You know what I'm saying? But I had a good time. I really had a good time.
I wouldn't have known you'd been drinking if you hadn't told me. No, that was good for you. I think you deserve to get out and have fun and enjoy it. And enjoy the food and the drink.
But I felt like I made a good choice in the balance of this.
Good for you.
So.
Good for you.
So yes, has it made a difference? Yes, because I've tested it a couple of times, and no, I don't feel like I failed, even though I chose something that probably was not the greatest for me in the moment. I don't feel like I failed,
Good.
At all.
Good.
So I feel movement in it. What about you?
Yes, I did not go out, but I ate here at home, and I did really well. I ate fruit and vegetables and nuts, and just stuck to our plan. Now, I don't feel like I'm getting enough calories eating this way, but I haven't been hungry, which is huge for me. It's easy. I just forget to eat, and that's just amazing to me. Because before I was like, oh, when can I have some chocolate, or when can I have something sweet, or every time I finished eating I was looking for dessert, and I just haven't. So
really?
It's just weird almost. But I felt better. I felt thinner, even though I'm not really that much thinner yet. I just feel that way because I'm not stuffed, and I don't feel miserable all the time. Like I'm just, and I feel less bloated, and I just feel better.
Good.
And I feel, I think a lot of it's pride too for us doing so well and feeling like, oh, I can do this. This is not that bad.
Does this feel like a diet?
No, not at all. Does it to you? Not
It
at all.
really doesn't.
Not at all.
It doesn't. Now, there are times when I would really, the emotional part of me that's still speaking, would really like to dive into one of those things that I consider comfort food beforehand. I still have that, but it's getting less and less.
Right.
And the intervals in between are becoming longer.
Right.
So it's starting to feel less like a diet and more like a change.
Yeah, yeah. And I want to keep doing this. After we're done with this 10-day challenge, I want to keep doing this because I just feel better. I really do. I sleep better, and I'm not waking up with heartburn, and I feel better.
Do you feel like you move better?
Yeah, I do
too.
I feel like I move better. I feel like I have more energy.
I feel like the things that I'm doing and things that I need to do throughout the day take less energy than they used to.
Yeah, me too.
When I was taking in more calories, isn't that weird?
Yeah, but I think the calories count now.
Yeah.
They're better calories.
Well, they're better calories, right?
Than the ones that processed food and all the junk in it.
So I'm seeing a definite
Benefit,
upswing
yeah.
and a benefit.
I think
What
it's
about you?
worth it. Oh, definitely. So next time we're going to finally move on to chapter number 6.
Finally, it's like we've been here for a week.
Well, 3 days. We're going to build a relationship with good food. So I'm excited about that.
Yeah. I
I
feel like we've got a good start under our belt, and I'm ready to continue with that start into making it a habit.
Yeah. I really like this book, and I really like what we're doing, and I think it's making a difference.
Yeah.
And I think we're getting rid of a lot of the rocks in that backpack.
Yeah, me too.
And it seems slow and hard, but I think when we look back, we've only been doing this for a week.
No, it feels a lot longer, doesn't it?
Yeah. So, good stuff.
It is good stuff.
Shree.